to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
You want to play what? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taylor.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King, your Majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taylor.
Hey, ho, hey, whoa, whoa, hey, wow. You know, I really hate how that clunks out. And I know I say it every goddamn time we do a show, but I really do because I'm a perfectionist. And even though it doesn't look like it by my presence, I really like things to go properly and smoothly. I might as well keep it at a mellow level. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. This is episode something other and something. We decided to stop counting right at number 99 because we were going to have some kind of an idea for what we were going to do for number 100, and we never got around to it. So we'll get to our number 100 episode one of these days. I'm John Taman, your happy host. I'm joined by my friend, as always, Jesse Martin, Mr. Pessimist. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine and dandy.
Just
great.
And dandy. I'm telling you right there, Scott. Our friend Scott from across the pond.
Our correspondent. He's our correspondent from the UK.
Barrow and Furnace. I
That's
got it
exactly right. Yeah. Well done.
Right. He's in Barrow and Furnace, UK. Our friend and mascot of the show, Scott.
Did you just call him mascot? You're a
I
dick.
quite like that tag, mascot of the show.
Show mascot. That's right.
Good.
Show mascot.
That's good.
I was
That
saying
is
correspondent.
that's an honor.
I thought correspondent sounded a little bit more professional.
That's right. Foreign correspondent. That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe we should keep me on because I'm
Foreign
winning.
desk.
So.
The Bleeding Burgundy's foreign desk.
Now,
Yeah.
I know for all of you young ladies that have joined in to see international television sensation Keith Gray, he will be joining us tonight, as I am told by his agent who phoned me just a few minutes ago from the motorcade to tell me that he was on his way to the closest studio he could find so that he could grace us with his presence.
He will be here, I think.
Yeah, I must say, I'm looking very much forward to that. I don't know why. I guess I'm just a glutton for
You
punishment.
just miss him. You miss him.
I know. I just miss him. But see, we instead of Keith, we've got our friend Scott. So Scott. Kind of a dull week, wouldn't you say?
Just nothing happening really.
Fucking
Commander Land, nothing, just nothing at all.
I got to catch up on a few naps. That's always good when you're my age, you know. So
Not much to talk about.
No, I don't think so.
Keith's got to get here because, of course, everybody in Twitterland is convinced that Keith is undercover working for the Snyders. So we have to wait for him to get here to give us the absolute the propaganda that they have sent him here with.
Will he read a pre-prepared statement, John?
It won't sound like it. It won't sound like a pre-prepared statement, but it will be a pre-prepared statement. He'll read it once and then he'll go, but like I was saying, and then he'll say it again. And before Jesse and I can say anything, he would say, and anyway, and say it all over again.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I think that a lot of our listening, they appreciate that when Keith does that, because after the first time that he says, like I was saying, they can get up and go to the bathroom or get a goat or make a sandwich. They know there's nothing new coming for 10 minutes. So, all right. And that's how I talk about people when they're not here. So yeah, man, we might as well jump right into it. We'll get Keith on it as soon as he gets in. Dan Snyder is selling the football team, and I couldn't be happier. And of course, I have the funeral dirge of texts from Jesse. Pump the brakes, slow down, don't get so happy yet. This isn't what.
Hey, listen. Look,
Hey, here, give it to us straight.
When it came out, it was kind of odd. That statement was kind of odd that they put out, exploring all options. I think I've come around a little bit more now. I mean, I still think that's a chance that he only sells, a piece of it, but it's becoming more likely that our dreams are coming true just in time for Christmas.
Might I say for everybody?
I will lead the parade when that happens, but I still, I'm still not going to believe it until I see it. Whoever the salesperson is, or until it's actually announced that the Washington Commanders are sold. I'm not going to believe it.
He's still not going to be happy with it when it happens. You know that, Scott, right?
I know that.
He's the kind of guy that waits up in his footy pajamas for Santa Claus, and when he comes down the chimney, Jesse shoots him and says, "You ain't Santa," and ruins it for everybody. So what do you think, Scott? Are we to be happy?
Absolutely. I think it's the closest we've ever been
Sure.
under his tenure to getting somewhere. I think if you start to embark on this, roller coaster ride of we're bringing in a bank, we're bringing in people who are the Bank of America to say, let's sell the team. I don't think you do that if you just want to sell a minority stake. I think he is quite capable to go out and find someone with a short cash injection, should it be for a stadium bid. I think it's all in or nothing. And that's the noises we're all hearing in social media land, from the local press. It's actually made international news, believe it or not. It was on Sky News, it was on Sky Sports News. It's all over.
An international son of a bitch.
Yeah, of course, Keith broke it, I think so. But anyway, I want to believe that this is going to happen, but I'm kind of got that awkward back feeling with Jesse where I'm like, is this real? Because the timing's really, really off. But they said they were never going to change the name, and then all of a sudden the name's changed.
Right. It's like what happened in the past 2 weeks that made him flip flop. We all know that Dan Snyder. We all figured he would fight and scrap to the bitter end. This is nothing new of the disdain that we have and have had
we've hated him forever. For a long time, yeah.
So what?
Like the first 5 years, yeah, we hated him.
Two weeks ago, he put out, when Irsay made those comments, he put out that release that says we're not going to sell. So what happened?
Well, I'll tell you,
part
of what I read in all of this media that went back and forth. Now, I don't mean, when I say media, I don't mean I'm not talking about Bobby 693 said.
Yeah.
Looking at the NFL media, the reputable guys, Ian Rappaport, I'm not going to attribute him to this because I don't want to get him in trouble because I don't know who said it or not. But I read in there that the NFL owners had the 24 votes.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Right. Now, I haven't seen that since. So do they have the 24 votes?
I've seen one person say that. There was a video floating around that was on NFL Network. It was a reporter. And that's the only time I've seen it.
So I think the thing that kind of leans me more towards you do this only if you're going to sell the team in its entirety is Schefter's always had a line to the team and
he's
to
right
Dan
on.
Snyder
To everybody.
And he said, look, Dan does not need this money for a minor owner. So that then leads me to think, right, okay, this is great. We've also had another scandal that apparently the Commanders are being investigated for tax issues, which are okay. All
financial improprieties.
Right? Yeah, that's the word. All disclosures out here where we are not here alleging anything. Okay, just in case any lawsuits want to come our way, we're not alleging anything.
Yes, if they do, they should be sent to international television sensation Keith Gray, ambassador to the Washington.
But I think we're as close as we're ever going to get, and it made me the happiest I've been in my fandom that this could actually come true. I mean, I will literally swim if I have to the first game after I'll come across the ocean. I'll get there in any way I possibly can. We will be booking that plane to that first game after the sold is official. No doubt about it.
Look, all of this allegation and all of this and what happened over the last 2 weeks. Okay, the owners, the word is out that they have the 24 votes. This financial impropriety, I recall saying on this very show, because it is the only one that I'm actually on, that they'll go after him about the money. Remember, it came out about 3-4 months ago that there was these financial funny business going on between him and the league, and once that happened, that was it, because they're not going to let anybody steal their money. Al Capone, how did he go down? Right?
Yep.
He went down for tax evasion. Okay, so they're going to do things that are going to get him to get out. And I think what Dan has realized is that, hey, I've got me a big goddamn ship. I can get $7 billion in my pocket, and I can sail around the world. And I think that's what he's going to do.
Spent a lot of time on his yacht, obviously, in the summer. Maybe that's what he's thinking to himself now. Is it time to go?
Outside the 3 mile limit. Yes.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. But this, I think the straw that probably broke the camel's back for Dan and Tanya to put the team up for sale was the booing of Tanya Snyder.
Mhm.
You know, she doesn't need to put up with that. She's just a lady who's in a different bedroom to Dan Snyder every night. But hey, you know, that's how it goes.
Now we're making allegations.
We are. But no, in all seriousness, though, I think they've just about. He's probably backed into a corner now so much that he thinks I can't do any more. There's more allegations coming down the line. The team doesn't need that right now, and he can't fight it on every front forever. It's impossible.
Like I said, the NFL with the money, right, the improprieties, the 24 votes, Jimmy Irsay coming out and saying what he said. They gave Dan the proverbial gun with one bullet and put him in a room. Said, go do the honorable thing. We'll leave you alone after that. Go on. Beat it. So,
and it's going to be interesting.
I read today that it's who was it? I think it was Schefter that said that it's going to happen sooner rather than later. This is something that's full bore. Yeah. So,
well, this is the thing. The league meeting's not till April, from what I'm led to believe. Where
they don't want him to be there. They didn't send him an invitation.
No, they can have this. They can have this done within the next.
His invitation said, "To whom it may concern."
So they can put an extraordinary general meeting together, get the owners together in a room, and say, right, well, how are we voting for this? It still needs the 24 votes cast to have the sale pushed through.
Mm-hmm. There will be 31 votes.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm pretty certain there will be. But it looks for all intent. And to be honest, why would you would vote for the sale yourself if someone's coming into a room and saying, hey, here's $6 billion or however much the team goes
Probably
for.
Closer to 7, I would bet you.
Well, this is the interesting thing. I mean, that was one question I was going to bring up is what do we think not just what is the price of the Commander's going to go for, but what do you think
the value is about 5.5
5.6, isn't it, or something like that, Jesse? Yeah, but it's not going to go directly for that because what you have to take into account is what the NFL is.
Well, there's other things involved with it too. So
yeah,
he's got the stadium, he's got the facilities, all of that. There's
all
land.
the land that he owns, right? The land in Ashburn, the land because he owns the land on FedEx Field as well too. All that is worth so much money.
And plus,
ridiculous amount of money.
The next 10 years, the money is only going to go one way, and the NFL is only going one way, and that is up.
Yeah.
So you have to take into account what you're paying now is going to be a good earner for whoever takes over in the future.
Well, the Broncos sold for what? 4.6,
yeah,
or 4.6,
yeah, something like that.
I'm sorry, but the Broncos is a very, very small media market compared to the Washington franchise.
Right.
There's going to be a bidding war. There's already talks of multiple people that are interested, everywhere from Bezos. And, the people are saying, oh, Bezos can't do it because Amazon and the TV deals. No. Bezos isn't the CEO of Amazon anymore. He gave that up a little while back. Ted Turner, they own the Braves. They have TBS. That's not going to be an issue.
Ted Turner, he's going to be an owner for about, 3 months before he dies? What is he, like 150? Jesus Christ! When that guy bought the Braves, when cable started, that dude was over. Remember?
What's the chap who's?
So the people that are out there saying that Bezos can't own the team, that's bullshit. Hey, Bezos,
sure let's explain another thing to anybody that says that. Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world, which means he can fucking do anything he goddamn well wants.
What really interested me, because I did a bit of research, because obviously these names are getting bandied around, and I looked and I was like, what, Jeff Bezos has got $14 billion in cash?
Dude, he gave his ex-wife something like multi-billion dollars just to go away. So he would run around with really what I consider to be maybe a 6.
There's going to be a bidding war.
She's not all that.
And it would not shock me if this sale doesn't rise up to close to $8 billion.
Wow.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw a wrench in there. I would bet you that the NFL would be absolutely thrilled to have minority ownership in DC.
Yes.
And Byron Allen has already come close to buying.
He's my number one. He's my number one.
Yeah, he's the guy I think that the NFL will probably try to say, here's our guy.
But
I'm fine with that.
Who does he go in with, though, as well? I mean, his company as a whole, and I know he owns a lot of TV stations and media.
Dude started off really with nothing.
He was a comedian, was he not?
Yeah, he was on I saw today on Twitter, somebody put up the old TV shows that real people. I forgot that's who he is.
So he's worth, from what I'm led to believe, his asset worths are about $4.5 billion. So he's going to have some sort of group to go in together, because realistically, I think the minimum number you need to take this team over, to build it a new stadium, to get the guaranteed Super Bowl to come to you, to have prime real estate in DC, whether it's RFK's back in play, whether it's somewhere else, or whether it's, on the Maryland side, whoever's obviously legislated and coming in and is going to give more money from public finances. I think you need close to 10 bill for this project as a whole.
Sure.
That's where I think you are.
I think you're right. And I'm glad. See, this is why we have Scott here, because, Keith would have said something like, "It's going to be a hell of a lot of Slurpees." And that would have been the end of it. That would have been his analysis of the whole thing. So good on you, Scott.
No, and
I also like it when there's an English gent in here, because then I live in Maryland.
Sorry,
it's all right.
Maryland. Yeah, I can't.
Maryland.
Maryland. That's how I say it.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for the whole NFL if there was a minority owner and
it's well overdue. It's about time,
because there's another there's another guy that came to the forefront. He was in the mix for the bidding of the Broncos in Matt Ishbia. The thing about Byron is he did not want to get into a bidding war with the Waltons. He did not want to drive up. He could have, and he said, "I'll put $1 billion. I'll buy the team for $5 billion, but I'm not going to get into either you take it or leave it. I'm not going to get in the bidding war," because he didn't want to drive up the price for the next franchise that would be coming to Bellevue. So I expect him to be heavily involved and most likely come out on top, because the NFL might not want Bezos as the owner, because Bezos can quadruple the money of all of them probably put together. You know?
Jerry Jones would be like, somebody with bigger balls than me. Well, God damn.
Exactly. What you have to remember here is if we do get Bezos in as
pardon me.
Sorry, Jerry, I didn't realize you were on the call. But
that's not a problem.
We'd have the raddest stadium ever if he did get involved.
Can I just ask Jerry a quick question? What do you think, Jerry, if Jeff Bezos does buy the team? Obviously, Commanders merchandise in any way you want to shape or form, toothbrushes to slippers to beach towels, is going to be everywhere you can possibly look. How does that put you in a tough spot? Because we all know how well marketed the Dallas Cowboys are throughout the NFL.
Well, it doesn't really hurt me none, because there's two things that are going in my favor whenever we talk about a marketing war between myself and the Washington Commanders football team, Redskins. It doesn't matter whether Jeff Bezos owns it or whether it's Dan Snyder. It makes no difference. I have the largest audience in all of America as Dallas Cowboy fans. And after we did some market research, we found out that 89.1% of those people are actually brain damaged in some form or another, whether their mother had way too much alcohol while they was in utero, or whether or not some of them have been in car accidents and things like that, and other ones just ate some bad paste. But that really helps us with our marketing bottom line. We can put a Cowboy star on practically everything. We could put one on a Commander's helmet and sell it for $85.95. As a matter of fact, if you head on over to DallasCowboyShop.com right now and put in the promo code Bezos, we'll sell you your very own Commander's hat with a Dallas Cowboys star plastered right over top of that big ugly W. Look, it doesn't matter to me who buys the team, but he can't be more powerful than me. So if Jeff Bezos does, I would recommend you just stay away from his car one time when he's getting ready to start it. Bye.
See you, Jerry.
Well, that's just pretty obvious. So seriously, that is something to consider. Bezos has more money than all of them, and Jerry likes his power. Yeah. So, and I do think that they would like to see minority ownership here in Washington. I don't think that they would pressure Dan to sell it for anything less of value, and I don't think that they can. But I think that Allen could probably put together a good group to be able to come up with the money that would be necessary to buy this team.
And another thing that hurt too is they necessarily don't want a group; they want one person as well too. But I still think Byron Allen has the money to do that. He just needs to come up with like only $1.3 billion up front in cash. I mean,
maybe he should. Maybe he should listen to us tomorrow afternoon when we pick the winners of the NFL, and he can take our advice.
If I was a betting man, I would bet on Allen.
All right, well, I might as well get this out of the way since we brought it up. Are you ready, Scott?
Yeah. So do you know anyone, John, that's got any one-to-one customer service that's exceptional that I can use?
I have absolutely heard of someone that has one-to-one exceptional customer service that you can use right now. I also believe that they'll give you up to 200%. Listen up, sports bettors. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS.com offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, UFC, and MLB for only a couple more days because the series is going to end. And then after that, you'll have to bet on NHL or NBA or God knows what else, freaking watching poker on Channel 30. If you're up for live in-game betting, incredible odds and daily odds, boosters, props, and parlays, we got it. How about fast payouts and exceptional one-to-one customer service? Now, Scott, you were just mentioning exceptional one-to-one customer service.
Yeah.
How about that? My God, they've got that too. Log into betus.com, betus.com, or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BET-US, betus.com. Where the game begins. Man, that just wears me out. I'm telling you. So, I'm going to go ahead and move on for something real quick and bring up our opponent of the week, the Minnesota Vikings. And here's their star quarterback, Kirk Cousins. We see him here at a press conference last week after they defeated who did they beat last week? I don't know, but they're 6-1.
6-1.
6-1. Are you guys done talking about Dan Snyder?
Yeah, I think so. I think we can move on because there's no one knows where we are. We just know they're looking to do whatever they are, and we're going to sell it. So
Sunday's game is going to be interesting on how the crowd reacts to this.
For a second there, I thought Scott was getting all metaphysical on us there. No one knows where we are. We just float here in the universe, a speck of dust.
All part of the rich tapestry of life, John.
That's right. See, Keith would call that a throw rug. He would be completely, we've got a much classier audience now. Thanks to our friend. Scott Hartley. All right. Okay. So the Vikings, this is a good football team, obviously. So they're 6-1. You are what your record is. But I said this on Saturday's show. I hate using this phrase. They haven't really beaten anybody, but they haven't really had a severe test as of yet. I think that they'll do well when they do. They usually do, unless it's at night because Kirk Cousins can't see. But I think that other than our game against Philadelphia, this is our toughest since the Cowboys. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. I think that it's interesting, their record, because we look at their record and we see that they've won by a double doink in London. They haven't beat great teams, but the same could be said for us, really. Our last 3 wins have been against the Bears, against a quite poor Bears side, against a terrible Packers side, and we were lucky to beat the Colts last week. So yes, we're on a three game heater, but they are 6-1 for a reason, and your record, as you said, says what you are.
That's right. You are what your record is. I don't care what anybody. There is no cutting it. They don't have a column for bad wins, ugly wins, right? We beat the Bears. By the way, all of you Americans out there that are wondering what the hell Bears side means, that means team here in America. Their team. Scott has a different way of speaking.
Yeah, I use English. Right. It's a language that we share in common, and we invented. Sort of, but hey-o, That's right. No, I'm just messing with you. But look, the Cowboys beat the Bears side the other day, just destroyed them. So you're right, but baby steps, right? And I'm tired of saying baby steps. We've been doing baby steps since we got here, but 3 in a row. Can we do 4 in a row against a team like this after the 3 that we beat? Can we do that?
I mean, we can, but are we?
I don't know. It's a winnable game, that's for sure. But it's a tough game. We are the home side. You have to take confidence in that. This week's been a bit tumultuous. We've had a lot of off-field issues going on that might hopefully will garner the players into think, you know what, we're gonna go out and show what we're about. Hopefully, the fans turn up. In numbers. I don't know if that's going to galvanize them to turn up in numbers and droves. And then we have Ron Rivera's unfortunate news, and prayers out to him and his family at the moment. They'll want to win for the coach for that reason as well. We have to think about that. They want to win for the coach for that reason.
I'll tell you this. I bet you that in the locker room, that affects them more than the Snyder news does. I bet you the Snyder news is really, it's registered with them, but I don't think it's probably registered very much whatsoever. But their coach, I think that probably has. And I think you're right. That should bode well for at least, let's go out and win one for the coach, on a bad week, that kind of thing.
Yeah, fans,
Well, we listen to the radio. They don't.
There's a lot of fans that aren't happy with Ron Rivera. They at Ron Rivera, tell him to fire himself, which is fucking it's insane.
You have to remember it, Jesse. This is the world of Twitter.
Yeah.
And Twitter isn't real life.
But
it's not.
It's not.
But it's
the
fun.
real life of it is the fact that players love Ron Rivera.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Doesn't matter.
100%.
Doesn't matter what anybody tweets. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. Bad play call or not, they play for Ron Rivera, and seeing him hurt is going to probably put a little extra pep in their step, and they're going to need it. We're a battered team right now. We got some big injuries. Cole Holcomb being out again.
David Mayo is out
being
too,
out again,
which means John Bostic is in the effing game. And things have been going well. So I haven't been able to criticize Jack Del Rio. I haven't wanted to criticize Jack Del Rio because they've done things and they've been playing well. However, I said from the outset, way back, they ignored the linebacker position. We go into the season with 4 of them, right? Maybe 1 on practice squad. Well, our depth is now whittled down to John Bostic, who you pulled off the street after the final cuts.
Yeah, so we signed someone to the practice squad, and we elevated someone from the practice squad.
Yeah,
they're that important. I can't remember the names. I agree with you, John. We haven't addressed that position, but I think we continue the way
Dalvin Cook is going to show them what this means.
I think we continue the way we did last week, where we see Cam Curl in the linebacker hybrid safety position. With the green dot on again, calling plays. It worked.
Jamin Davis is going to have to step up again.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. But he hasn't, since that they came out in the coaching staff, gave him that, they didn't throw him under the bus, but they gave him
They threw him under the bus.
Okay. You want to call it
They
that?
chucked
You want
his
to call
ass.
it that? You want to call it that? They called him out publicly. That's what we're going to say.
I think that they gave him a little incentive, and they didn't throw him under the bus. That was a very mild comment, and some guys respond to that, and I think Jamin is one of them.
You got to know when to be that coaching staff where you know when to put your arm around a player or when you give them a bollocking.
These guys have been doing it for a long time. They're not stupid. They're not young people that are going to make stupid mistakes.
And he's played on fire since then. He's not put a foot wrong.
Progressively better too. Week after week.
So I don't see that changing tomorrow, or I hope not. I really hope not.
Well, here's the thing. He's going to have to. And I mean, we're going to get into that, but this is a huge part of the game because Dalvin Cook is an all-pro candidate every year. That guy is a freaking beast. But when he comes out, Alexander Madison comes in and they don't miss a beat. That dude is another beast. So our linebacking crew, Cam Curl's going to come down. He's going to play in that spot there. But, with Mayo out and with Holcomb out, we are stretched thin, which means that's going to take Curl away from other responsibilities that he might be doing in other places. They're going to have to put him down there in situations where they might not want to. We're going to have to see a big game, I think, out of Derek Forrest because he's going to have to do a lot of the moving around back there in the backfield to be able to cover those open holes. And boy, I tell you what, they match up really well against us offensively, defensively. Jefferson, that dude's one of the best receivers in the league, and he moves into the slot. Oh, he is. He's like Randy Moss version 2. And he moves into the slot a lot, which is where you're going to see Rashawn Wildgoose.
He plays all 3 positions.
Right.
I think we're going to have to see one or the other. I think we have to try and employ the tactics we had with Derrick Henry, where if you keep Derrick Henry quiet, which we tried to do, same with Jonathan Taylor in a way, you've got to try and keep Cook quiet on Sunday.
Big difference. They have,
but the thing is, if you can't keep him, if you try to adjust and keep him quiet, you then leave Jefferson.
And Thielen, and now TJ Hawkinson. Okay.
I know.
All right. Which Hawkinson, I think, is too early to be able to they probably won't be able to really fit him into the offense yet.
Yeah. But Thielen's lost a step too.
He's been getting hurt. Yeah.
I'm not really too concerned.
They've got this
about
kid,
Osborne,
KJ.
Yeah, Osborne.
He's a quick one. All right. I'm not too really worried about, but the matchups that they get out of Dalvin Cook, Madison, and Jefferson are just destruction. And you've got to get to Mr. Mayonnaise. You've got to get in there. Right. I want him on the ground saying,
And there's opportunities too, because that interior offensive line is not good. Now they have really good bookends or the tackles, but in Payne and Allen should feast and feast often this game.
We've been saying that, and even though they've been playing really well, the quarterback pressure with Cousins is going to be. Dude, he's got a quick release. He's smart in the pocket. Let's just hope he has one of those Kirk Cousins games, where you just don't know what the fuck happens to him.
Are you getting this? Are you getting the 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins, or are you getting the 7 p.m. night
Kirk
game?
Once again, F.A. Obata, first quarter, take a chunk out of him. Just go in there and bite him. Just bite him. He'll be terrified of you. He'll be scared to death. He'll be like, "Oh my God, Mr. F.A. Obata, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend you."
This is what we have to think about. We have to think here that our defensive line and our front seven and the rotational pieces we have that can rotate in and out are doing big things. But we have to just blitz on Sunday.
Yeah.
Get him on his ass any way you possibly can, eating the dirt, and that puts Kirk Cousins off. We know he's prone to
the thing about him though is. You watch him this year, all right? And what he also does, he will throw almost blind. He'll throw to a spot because he knows he can handle the blitz pretty well. He'll throw to a spot, and with the receivers he has, they're on page with him. I think that I'd rather see him. We got to get to him with our front four. We've got to get to him with our four, because if they're going to be going straight pass plays and not, trying to freeze jamming Davis on, Mr. Inexperience, or God knows who the hell else they're going to have down there with some play action, which should work. Look, we got to get to him in the front four. We can't spare anybody back there, right? You got to be able to get to him, and you got to get to him fast.
Yeah, and just play with 12 men and hope that the refs don't see. It'll be fine.
What's up, Yam? Yam Starch, I got a question for you. You're in Japan. Do you live in Japan? Are you a service person over in Japan? Why are you in Japan? Just curious.
Yam's in Japan.
So, Keith was supposed to join us. I guess he got hung up. Is there a crowd of young girls out in front of his house again?
It might be.
He might be signing autographs again.
Take a long way home.
You know how long that takes? It takes a long time.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. You guys go ahead and pick a topic, because I am going to get a beer and do a little bit of behind the scenes work here.
Yeah.
There's your topic, Scott.
Our offense.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Our offense is with Taylor Heineke under helm. This is going to be a big game for him, like a really big game for him. This game is basically going to tell us if he's going to stay the starter for the rest of the season, or if Carson Wentz is going to come back in. Not going to put that on him during the Eagles game. What do you think? What do you expect from Taylor Heineke this game?
I expect a similar sort of game to what he's had before. I expect him to be out of the pocket, to be able to extend plays with his feet. I do expect more from him offensively, numbers-wise, as in passing yards-wise. I want him to start a bit quicker. It's been very dink and dunk and quite poor, the last few games. Obviously, that catch from Terry against Indy was unbelievable. I want to see more middle throws, medium throws into the middle of the field rather than the short stuff. We're without J.D. McKissick as well, so there's a backfield weapon out there, and I want to see him spread the ball out more as well. I mean, I know he's been doing that. We had 9 different receivers or people catch the ball last week.
8 or 9, yeah.
I want to see the same. I want to see the same again. I'm firmly hitching my wagon to Taylor as it stands right now to be the starter until the end of the season, or until it's mathematically impossible that we then need to find out what we have with Howell. I said it on a couple of times on the show that I can't see Wentz coming back now. I think the front office and the staff won't, and the staff, coach staff won't say it, but they think they made a mistake. Or that's how I perceive it anyway. But I can't see Wentz coming back in. I want us to win on offense tomorrow, and I want to see Debo. I want to see the Debo Samuel move from our own Samuel, Curtis Samuel, and I want to see more of the extended plays, or a little bit what's more in Scott Turner's bag. round the play sheet.
I'd rather see what Scott Turner has at timely situations. That's where I get a problem with what he's doing. You know what? I think I'm in the tank right now for Taylor Heineke to have a big game on Sunday. He does. He steps up against bigger teams. He has a decent game. I don't know that you said earlier, Scott, that this is a winnable game. I don't.
No, I think it is.
I don't see that there's anything within the realm of reality that might show that that's really a winnable game. But I like the optimism, and if we can all stretch it to get to where we want it to go. But
me and Jesse are totally polar opposites. I am 100% all in Homer. I will openly admit that until it gets to 1 p.m. on a Sunday or about 12:30 on a Sunday, when it suddenly dawns on me, oh my God, I've got to watch this for 3 hours.
Scotty, when we're going against the Bills, this is winnable. I think we can pull this off. No
one gave us a shot. We always have a game like this every season. I said it on the prediction show. We have a game like this every season when nobody gives us a shot at all.
That's next week.
Yeah, I really don't think it's winnable.
I'll tell you what, Jesse can watch them scrimmage their own defense and be like, "Oh, there's 6. We ain't gonna win this." All right, so I am in the tank this week for Taylor Heineke. I can see him having a big game, all right? And I can see him managing a game to the point where we can get a win out of this team if he has a decent game. The defense, obviously, they've been holding teams, but they've been holding poor teams. Or they're not. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Hurt hand or not, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. And as we know, Kirk Cousins is really just a big mayonnaise in a suit. So we can get after him. We know his tendencies. We're able to go get him. And I want to see Jonathan Allen go in there and eat him. Just
shout out to Yam there in the chat for getting up. I thought I had it bad. Getting up at 3 a.m. to watch this. I mean, the Monday night games must kill you.
But Yam said no. He said, no, I'll catch the highlights. That's what
exactly.
I'll catch the highlights.
So, so I'm looking at Heineke to have a decent game. And I think that Terry is on fire right now. Terry believes Terry could probably pick up Mount Everest right now, and I think Terry could. So that's the way I see it. What do you see, Jesse?
Yeah, I don't know. This game is really unpredictable for me, and I think it has to do with Taylor Heineke. I think the defense is going to play well enough. I think they're going to give up some things, but I think they're going to play well enough that if we can conjure up some offense. To me, this is a make or break game for Taylor Heineke. I think he's going to show you either he's the starter for the entire rest of the season, or B, Carson Wentz is going to come back in. It's not. Taylor's very capable of having a big game. He's very capable.
I think so.
This defense,
came in.
This defense is can be had. Okay. I think it's like 23rd in the NFL. And we've been going up against really good defenses lately, top 10 defense.
I think it's last in pass pro in the entire NFL as well.
Pass protection or pass defense?
Pass defense.
Okay. Well, then go get him. Taylor Heineke, the Mad Bomber.
Yeah, it's got to get your playmakers the ball. Got to be at least semi-accurate.
I would like to see a good game out of Brian Johnson. I've already said Byron Allen. I'm ready to come on, Byron, buy the team. Brian Johnson, I want to see a big game out of him. So far, he's underwhelmed me.
Byron Johnson,
Robinson,
Brian Robinson. God damn it!
Like, who the fuck are you talking about? You're talking about the kicker that was on our team for like a couple games last year.
Brian Robinson. You'll be old one day.
It's fine.
That's right. No, I want to see more out of him. Okay. I might not remember his name, but I remember this 2.3 yard average. Okay. And I'm remembering watching him really just kind of running a little bit trepidatiously when I want to see him get behind his pads and really hit it. Look, I'm watching the Eagles last night, which was all the way up until, the late fourth quarter. That was a much better game than I anticipated, man. The Texans were laying it on him a little bit, and their running back, this guy, Damian Pierce. Yeah. Dude, man, that guy is a freaking bowling ball. I like watching him. And I know that he's a different running, and he's a lot smaller than Brian Robinson, but I want to see some of that energy. I want to see some of that attack. I want to see some of that. I know where I want to go, and you are in the way. Get the hell out of it, or I'm going to Hulk smash. That's what I want to see. Go get it.
We've done really well with special
Step
teams
it up.
lately, with a couple of a couple of forced muff punts and recoveries.
We got 2 fumbles last week.
Yeah, that might be where we
need to keep this trade up.
Yeah, that's where we might be looking to get a pick 6 or something like that. We've got to score on defense, I think, as well to win on Sunday.
I don't know if we got to score, but yeah, I'll tell you what, an early interception of Kirk Cousins would be very happy. I'd be very happy with any interception of Kirk Cousins. Really, I'd be very happy.
Just got to start fast.
We got to be able to keep them in check. Even if we keep it at low, even if it's a low scoring game in the first quarter and it's just a couple of punches back and forth, we can't let them just march up and down the field. We can't just let them get out of the gates and just run all up and over us. That's just the way I see it. Jesse, well, you've been very quiet. What do you think?
Yeah, I the running game has to be number one this week. Run the ball, then get it to Terry and Samuel. That's it. That's the game right there. This defense can be had.
I could see a big game out of Gibson, just like we've been seeing. Very similar type game for him to be able to get outside and get some passes. Like a Taylor Heineke, man. I expect big things out of him this week. I can see it coming. The kid's getting some moxie behind him. He's getting some cockiness behind him. He's got his confidence up high. He keeps buying shoes. Have you seen this? Every time.
Yeah, it's in this. Yeah.
When he wins, he gets 125,000. Yeah,
and
he buys himself a pair of shoes that are the colors of the team he just beat. So go get yourself some purple and gold shoes.
He's got to make smart decisions, and he hasn't been. These past 2 games that I'm sorry, he's pulled it out in the end, but
hey, he's always been that. But we keep saying that he thinks he can force it into places that he can't. He thinks he's Brett Favre. And he's just not. Aside from, I don't know whether he rips off, orphans or anything like that, like Brett Favre does, that scum-sucking bastard. But whether he can play like Brett Favre, I have no idea. He thinks he can, and he's not able to do it. All right, so defensively, what do we got to do here?
Yeah, defensively, we've just got to stop the running game or limit the running game. You can't stop it. I don't think you can with a back like Cook. You got to limit that, and you've got to get to
Madison. That dude is badass.
Yeah.
That dude is
you've got to get to the quarterback. That's all we've got to do. Get to the quarterback. Get to him fast. Put him off his game. Put him off his stride, and then we'll see irrational Kirk Cousins rather than the Kirk Cousins that we know is, arguably a top 10 quarterback in this league.
If I may say, we have now been graced with the presence of international television sensation Keith Gray.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. I can't stand you, John. I hate you so much. As I was entering the backstage, I heard, I think it was Scotty saying Kirk Cousins is top 10 quarterback of the league.
No, I'm not saying he is right now, but he's playing like that. He's playing
Kirk
well.
Cousins, everybody.
Oh. Yeah.
He can be a top 10 quarterback. He can be a top 10 quarterback.
Oh, he is. He is.
Oh, I know. Here comes Jesse.
I'm just saying he is right now.
Captain
this year.
Crusader lover.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
He is.
Captain Crusader lover.
Captain
Crusader.
Maybe that'll be our next name.
If we win on Sunday, then Keith, is that you running around the park red zone lot naked? Then do you know what I mean? Because we've beaten him.
I mean, it would be a huge win. So absolutely, I'd do it.
Yeah,
really.
Listen,
all right, we're going to hold you to that. That's nice.
Listen, I'm not trying to go to jail. I'm not going to beat down Kirk Cousins. He's a good quarterback. He was a good quarterback when he was here in Washington. I never gave him the credit that he deserved because I did feel that he was what everyone said he was a Pat Statter. And what did I just say? A Pat Statter? I said a Pat Statter.
A Pat Statter?
He was a stat patter. Oh, goodness gracious, man. What
the thing was you saw Scott nod along like, I don't know what this is, but it must be something the Americans understand.
Yeah, I was just bemused. I was like,
he's not a
he
Pat
was
Statter.
bemused.
He's a stat patter. But at the
Bringing
end of the day,
lingo out, John.
I love it.
at the end of the day, is he a quarterback that I would like to go against in this kind of situation? No, not really. I mean, the Vikings are not a bad team. They have a very strong
Yeah,
offense.
6-1.
They're 6-1, but they're a beatable 6-1 in my opinion. If you look at their games, it wasn't like they were blowing teams out of the water. They've been finishing their games on top, and I can respect that. So I'm going to respect a 6-1 record. I'm not going to say that, Kirk Cousins is absolute trash. Am I concerned, about this one? Absolutely 100%. I mean, right now we're at 500. I feel like if we take a loss here, we could potentially take a loss in Philadelphia. Now we're back 2 games under, and we're trying to once again crawl out of a hole that we just got out of. So, my keys, I don't know where you're at with what you guys have been talking to, but my keys to this game is if we can fluster Kirk, apply as much pressure as possible to make him make bad decisions, throw some interceptions, I think that we'll be in good shape. The problem is this defense has not been great at doing that, although we have been getting turnovers as of recent. We haven't really done much with these turnovers. The turnovers have always been on the other side of the field for what has been created. So hopefully, we can change that. But I think in order for us to win, we are going to have to fluster Kirk, make him make bad decisions, and hope that these bad decisions turn into our favor and we can put some points on the board.
That's the second time this month that we've said fluster on this podcast, and that's a very good thing. I think you're right. You got to get to Kirk. We were talking about that earlier. We had not gotten to Keys yet, but thanks for moving us along.
Oh,
no, it's all right. No, we'd been just kind of talking offense and defense. We were just starting to get into the defense. But I think we all agree, and I think that's the key to practically any game, but especially when you have a quarterback like Kirk.
Yeah.
If you let him get hot, he will fucking eat you up. He will light you up. That dude
Kirk can make big plays, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And having Justin Jefferson definitely helps your case. Having Justin Jefferson definitely helps your case. I mean, Thielen hasn't been blowing anybody out of the water by any sense, but it's still not. Yeah, but it's still not somebody that we should look past. I mean,
he's lost his step.
He's definitely lost a step, I think, just within age and injury and that type of stuff. But ultimately, overall, when you take a look at this game, this is a must-win, big, huge game. To me, I think this is bigger than playing Philly, the following week. We've got to get this win so we don't put ourselves in a black hole. I mean, is it the end of the world if we lose? No. But I think it'll, in return, set a precedent for what our team is trying to be. And I think that we can show it as long as we can, control the ball. We started to find an identity with a run. We've got to stick to the run. I know Minnesota's defense is stout a little bit against the run. So that could be problematic for us, but I don't think it's something that you don't continue to try. So establish that run game, establish time of possession. You can say this for any game, honestly.
Sure. Yeah, these are cliches. But no, I don't mean to make funny by saying these are cliches, because they're cliches because they've been repeated because they're real. Look, okay, let me point you in a direction a little bit since we've already covered some of this ground, but let's hear what you think. Taylor Heineke, how you feeling about him right now? We haven't talked to you in forever.
Yeah.
And 3 years.
Yeah, you got family things that you got to do.
62 years. It's 62 years since we've seen good Keith. My gracious.
He's gone and colored his beard again. I can see that.
No, I didn't. Right. No, I did not. No, I did not. Don't blame that shit on me. It's still gray, buddy.
All right,
see it?
Good for you. Good
for you. Got a fresh lineup, though.
Yeah,
it's the light.
All right, so Taylor Heineke. Okay, obviously you can't be disappointed in being 3 straight, 3 in a row, or 2 in a row for him. Okay, you can't be disappointed in that. You had said something about control the clock, and we were talking earlier about how we have to be able to jump out early to be able to get at least established. Mm-hmm. Frankly, I'm tired of seeing the game boil down to 2 good possessions at the last part of the fourth quarter. I want to see some consistency. But Keith, what do you think about Taylor Heineke coming into this game and, the last 2 games? We all know how much you love him.
It could go either way. I mean, I think no matter who you have at quarterback, we've struggled all season scoring points. And I think that's been, I'm just speaking on referencing this season. We struggle to score points. I mean, we struggled the last 3 games, scoring points.
Jesse's like, we're going to pick on Scott Turner.
Yeah, and we're constantly playing nail biters, man. But honestly, that's our team. That's what we've had for the past couple of years is nail biters. You know, they don't totally fold. They bend. They don't always break. And I think that we've gotten that Colts game. That was a lucky game to take away with a win.
That was a Terry game.
Yeah, I mean that was. I'm gonna throw the ball as far as I can, and Terry go get it.
Terry, go get it.
So was the Bears game. So was the Packers game.
You make your own luck, and he threw it up to the man that would make his own luck.
Yeah.
He works on that stuff.
The Colts game was looking slightly like it was going to go in a different direction once he threw that interception.
Yes, it was.
This is going to be tough, man. I'm okay with Heineke. I still like Carson Wentz. But honestly,
I'll be right back.
Yep, but honestly, I'm not really sure who's the better fit quarterback in these situations anymore. Again, I'm interested to see when Wentz is healthy. Are they going to, put him back in automatically because he's on a large contract?
I think that we kind of spoke on this earlier. This is what I think about the situation. This is Taylor Heineke's prove it game. This is the game right here. If Taylor wants the keys to the kingdom for the rest of the season, he's got to go out and prove it Sunday.
I can see that.
If not, it's going to go back to Carson Wentz. I don't think it don't matter if you're Wentz or Heineke. I don't think we have a chance Monday night versus Philly. So I'm going to kind of disregard that game. This game right here is the game for her. Going to continue to be under center. He's got to play a good game, all 4 quarters, not just fucking 2 drives.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about that too. We could get more into the Carson Wentz versus Heineke when it gets a little bit closer.
Let's see what happens after this game first.
Yeah, well, not even after this game because
if he wins this game, the conversations get sticky.
Well, and if he wins this game, it gets sticky, but then you go into Philly, but there's no guarantee that he'll be back in 4 weeks. I mean, it could be a 6-week return too. So anything can happen from now until then. So I'm just interested to see how that's going to play out, but we're going to have to wait for that. In the meantime, I'm going to stick with how I've always felt about Taylor is I do like the idea that he can find ways to get out of the pocket when the plays, been blasted by the trenches. So I'm okay with this. But I don't know if that we're just going to continue to find long-term success. I mean, I make jokes and I say, a 3-game win streak, 9 more to go. We're not winning 9 more games. It's not going to be
anything's possible.
Oh, stop it. Not with Taylor Heineke. It's not possible.
No, I agree,
because I'm with Jesse. I don't think we're going to go in. I don't think we're going to beat the Eagles. But I do think that we're going to have a different team going against them than what we had. Yeah. And so that does raise my interest a little bit into saying that and especially after watching this Texas game, last night, I'm not totally sold that Philly is completely 100% dominant either. But they're 8-0 for a reason, so I'm not going to look past them.
I got to tell you, our boy Davis Mills put himself together a halfway decent game last night. And if it wasn't for some just good old-fashioned American gumption, he may have come away with a win and shot those Eagles down.
Me personally, ride Taylor until you can't ride him anymore, and bring.
I find that's usually around 2:30 in the morning.
Suits you, sir.
And then bring in Wentz because I also don't feel that Wentz has had a fair shot. I mean, when you have 7 different have 7 different offensive line combinations out of 8 games this season, there is not a single quarterback that can be successful with that. In my opinion. So I'm with you, Jesse, in the sense of Carson may not be our guy for next year, right? And if that happens because of what we've currently have seen, I'm okay with that because he hasn't shown anything that he can be that guy. But on the flip side of that, I don't feel that he's had the best opportunity to show. And so it's almost like I'm saying, hey, if Heineke goes 2-2 while he's out, if Wentz is gone for 4 games only, and you bring Wentz in, I'm almost okay with that because I'm looking long-term and I'm not feeling playoffs at all. And that's just me being a realist fan. So therefore I need to be 100% for sure that Carson behind a better offensive line with all of his weapons also on the field, I need to be sure that he's not going to be that guy next year. We need those questions answered. And I feel like unfortunately, you're going to have to answer them this season. Now, will that happen if Taylor goes on a 4-game streak while he's out? No. I'm a firm believer you shouldn't lose your job over injury, but you can't compete with a backup quarterback who's won you 4 games while you were out injured.
There you go. All right. So I want to give Jesse a chance to say anything about this because he's been pretty quiet this whole doggone time. And he's sitting back there in the dark, probably looking like he's getting ready to plot some kind of a bombing. So
went dark quickly there, didn't it? Wow.
When all you see is his cheeks and teeth and forehead. Yeah, he's planning something.
That's right. So, yeah, man, I guess we might as well open the can of worms since he goes ahead and does it. Jesse, this game and the Eagles game, we figure are going to be, well, we know this week game is Heineke's. Next week, we figure it's going to be him again because we're, Wentz is out for the
automatic 4 games. Yeah.
Right. So if he wins one of these games, then
you're probably playing. You're probably going to stay with Heineke.
You have to. And now let me ask you this. Let me push it a little further. Keith, you said something about, about the future. I was barely paying attention because, frankly, you're like a bug in my ear. But let's say Heineke has himself. I know I'm disrespectful. Let's say he wins 7 or 8 games, 9 games, gets us in the playoffs. Let's say he does do what. Let's say he steps it up. I mean, I hate to say it, Keith. You weren't here last week. You were out on a book tour, but he's 7-3 in his last 10 starts. The guy wins football games. Okay. If he wins again and then he wins again, and how long do you let it go? And when do you get to the point where you start to say, okay, we have to evaluate Heineke as our starter going forward? And quite frankly, for me, Ron Rivera, prior to this 3-game winning streak, was really on my shit list because just the decision makings and all kinds that lead us to these problems. Now I think it's Heineke or bust for him. Ride him. That's your guy. Obviously, that's his guy. So what do you think of that? Jesse, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, no, I can understand how people may think that way, but I don't feel that way. You have to try to upgrade. He had 15 games last year to show us that if he was the guy or not.
Did George have a sliding scale for his experience level or anything like that coming in? He was essentially like everybody said, you're going to bitch, you're going to go crazy.
Listen, he's been in the league. He's been in the league.
He wouldn't let me say
years.
It. He's a rookie.
No, there is no fucking sliding scale. No,
he wouldn't even let me say the word.
Absolutely fucking not.
Good.
People that say, "Oh, he was like a rookie." No, he fucking wasn't. He wasn't a rookie. He's had opportunities to move up depth charts, and he hasn't been able to do it. And this goes on multiple coaching staffs. He couldn't break QB1 for an XFL team. We see his shortcomings on a weekly basis.
We do.
We do. We want a franchise quarterback.
Right.
Heineke, again, I've said it all last year. Love him, want him on this fucking team. But he's not the long-term answer.
The thing is, Jesse, you can't find a franchise quarterback in a pack of Lucky Charms. You have to try.
And that's why you have to have him on this team.
Yeah, you're right.
Until you find one.
Well,
I don't think you can't go into a season saying a Heineke's the guy. Can't do it. Sorry.
I agree with you.
But see, what if he keeps
I got a rebuttal
winning?
to that.
If he keeps winning, how do you keep throwing away guys? Now, I'm not advocating for him. I'm just playing what if. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
All right. But 7-3, you can't sneeze at that. He's beaten some quality opponents. If he keeps winning, we can say all we want about the shortcomings, but if this team gets better and goes further with him, Ron's got to ride him. That's my.
You're putting a lot of what ifs.
Let me weigh in on that because I actually think that's a great question. And I'm with you guys. I wouldn't actually advocate it, and I wouldn't be 100% thrilled about it. But there can be some positives that come out of that. If you said, "All right, Wentz, thank you for your service, but it wasn't for us," right? So then you say, all right, now we have our options currently right now. We have Heineke that would move to QB1. and we have Hal that would slide into the QB2 spot. You only make this decision on Heineke if you feel that at some point during the season, if needed, Hal can come in and do what's needed to be done if Heineke can't get the job done. Now, before you talk season, you take a look at your offseason. What you would have an opportunity to do is potentially draft another quarterback. So now you still have 3 back on your roster, right? And you keep drafting until you find your guy, but you're doing this the right way. You also would have a lot more money to play around with to fill the holes that are necessary to fill. You'll be able to get more than just serviceable guys like we've been doing the past couple of years, because the quarterback position has been taking a lot of money from this team in areas of need to where we could be spending it elsewhere. So my point is, if you said, you know what, we're going to try this QB1 thing with Heineke next season, then you better damn well hit in the draft, and you better damn well hit in free agency and spend that money that you're not going to pay a ton of with Heineke, and you make this team all around better. And you also make that decision knowing that at some point, if you needed to call on Sam Howell to come in because Heineke has been stinking it up, then you're putting Sam Howell in the game and you're giving him an opportunity to see if he can take the keys for this team. And then you just keep rolling through that process. Eventually, something's going to happen. What we're getting out of Heineke right now is he's a serviceable quarterback. He's a serviceable quarterback that knows the system, and he has the ability to win some games as well if they're tight, nail-biting games. But he is not a quarterback that I can see that can struggle from behind, being down a lot of points. I don't see him being that kind of guy that can manage his team to do that.
Ask yourself this: do you see Heineke winning a Super Bowl?
To answer that truthfully, absolutely not. However, I will follow up with, I could still see us becoming a better team with Heineke at QB1 if we're doing the right things in free agency and in the draft.
Okay, and that's where I want to come in on that one. Keith.
The overall objective into a football season is to go win a Super Bowl.
Sure, but it's also though partly, and I'll shut up and let you talk because I know you that's a valid, very 100% valid point. But my drawback to that is you can't do that when you're. And I know people are going to be like, well, we've been building for 30 years.
Don't worry about them.
You're right. You're right. But when you're building a team, that's a high expectation that if you were being realistic, you would know that your team is not at that level yet. But we have an opportunity to potentially take a non-strong quarterback, but yet be able to spend the money to put guys in positions of need that can make the team as a whole better. It's not ideal necessarily because I don't want Taylor Heineke as our quarterback. But in this league, we can see there's not a lot of many elite ones, and you have to work with what you currently have. And so is it the worst case scenario if they were like, look, we're going to ride with Taylor we're going to ride with Taylor next year. He's been winning. I can't say anything against that. And we'll have some money to spend to solidify our team much better. It's not a bad thing. But if I was to go back to the question that you asked me, I don't think that even if we did that, we could win a Super Bowl, because I do feel that you still have to have a quarterback that can make good plays down the field too.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that then begs the question from me to kind of almost rebuttal that is, do you now trust the front office to make these correct decisions in players in the other areas where we've been talking even on this show earlier? We've spent 2 years trying to look for a decent linebacker. I know Jamin Davis.
No, they haven't looked. They haven't looked.
Yeah. So as I said before, I think Ron is a fantastic man motivator coach, but he's not a roster builder. So they need to go in the offseason, and their number one thing for me to get is to find a guy that can build a roster.
I agree with that. Because look, they've made mistakes, especially on the interior line. They've done other things well. They've brought in decent guys.
Yeah, they've
done
brought
well
in
the
some
draft.
good players.
It's been a mixed bag. But when you look at Norwell and Turner, those were some stinkeroos right there. So anyway,
look, so they try. When it comes to that, they try to pay Brandon Sheriff. They offered him.
Well, he wasn't
hefty contract. Couldn't do it. Like some of the moves, I think they get shit on a little bit more than they should. But
people forget that these guys can make decisions too. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
yeah.
Right.
Brandon Scherf doesn't have to stay here if he doesn't want to.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what
I will
what I
remind
mean.
business, isn't it?
We're playing this guy this weekend. And
The object, like I said earlier, the object of a football season is to get your football team to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, and it's coming really, really hard to do that without a franchise quarterback.
Tell
And
you
that's
what,
why
Scott,
I think no matter what, you have to try something every year, no matter what. I do not fault them for going out and getting Carson Wentz. I don't fault them one bit because they had to try something.
Exactly right.
Just did not have it.
I fault them. I mean, it's a two-edged sword because you can fault them and say, well, they escalated all this money way up front. They didn't play very good hardball with the Colts, and it cost us because Turner and Norwell are our options. But even if you didn't get Scherf, I don't recall right off the top of my head who else was available. I would have thought you probably could have got a little bit better and probably maybe spent a little bit more. But we did spend $28 million. But on the other side of that sword, next year he's zero. We can cut ties and say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You got to look at the draft too. Like when you're looking at, you got to look
Yeah.
at the draft. Like look at the guys that we don't have to go after, or positions that we don't have to go after. You know, we don't necessarily have to go after wide receiver.
A lot of
We don't
guys
have to
coming up
go-
for contract in the next
Right.
2 years.
We don't have to go after running backs. We don't have to go over certain positions. So there's going to be draft needs to where we can get some of our offensive linemen. We can look at, more
No, we
linebackers.
can try.
We
None
can
of them are
try.
guaranteed.
Right.
Right.
Well, nothing's a guarantee. And I know that, but I'm just saying that, you can still do those things and still have, Taylor Heineke at center. Like I see the comment here that we've been in perennial 7 wins at best with Heineke. I mean, you're speaking facts, but also at the same time,
That's
you
2
got to
years.
take a look at the team as a whole. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like he's had
He's a backup. Right.
it's not like he's had a solid team on both sides of the ball. So
Right. Last year we
unless
had a
you're-
murderous schedule as too. It was, right.
Unless you're picking in the top 2-3 picks, you are not getting one of these generational style quarterbacks, or unless you're willing to
Come
do
on.
it. Unless you're willing to do a
Jalen
trade
Hurts
for-
was picked in the second round, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just don't buy into all of that.
Last year's draft. Listen, none of them were good. Okay, Pickett's not doing very well.
He's got small
Malik-
hands.
Lawrence.
Malik Willis had a dreadful game last week. I do not fault them for not going to get a quarterback last year. Do not fault.
let's
them
be
one
fair
bit.
though. Let's be
I
fair
will.
at the same
I'll be
time though.
fair.
When we say that, when you go and get a quarterback, let's just say top 3, and they're it's top 3 that are drafting. They all draft 3 quarterbacks, right? What you're looking for in that case then is you're looking for instant gratification.
Not
And
necessarily.
this is not a league. Yeah, you are, because they were when Haskins. Well, he was picked 15. He should be starting. They're
starting.
people
is
are
different.
looking for instant gratification based upon these draft picks and where they go. Kenny Pickett hasn't been playing well, but is it fair to say that in 3 years, when he develops
No.
better, that he could?
No. And
You know what I'm saying?
you can't even say that about Trevor Lawrence yet. When you
Right.
say fans want instant gratification, it's because as we all know, fans are stupid.
Stupid.
All right.
Yeah.
Fans are stupid.
Us fans
There's-
are stupid.
Very rarely do you see a Joe Burrow that comes along and in
very
year
rare.
2 goes to the
So we got to
Super
be
Bowl.
fair in the
right.
right. So we got to be
Right.
fair in the assessment when we
Quarterback-
say a guy's stinking up, because 2 years later he might not. I mean,
Well,
Troy Aikman,
Scott, you said
Peyton Manning,
earlier.
they stunk too.
Right.
They did.
Curly, I said.
But
Scott,
they showed promise.
Yeah, I can
Pickett's
see that.
Pickett's not a.
That's fair.
Aikman was 1-15.
There was no teams that were
Peyton was 2-14.
that were
and he threw like
yeah.
35 interceptions too.
But Jesse's right. They showed promise to show that it wasn't necessarily on them as to the reason.
Even if
why
it
they
is
were
on
losing
them.
the
Look,
game.
Peyton Manning threw 35 interceptions his first year, and it's like 31 his second year. I'm not sure those exact numbers, but he threw a fuck ton. And the fact of the matter is, sometimes that's how you learn. And people have way too high expectations when it comes to the quarterback, because the quarterback
agree.
position, as we have all talked about, is hyped up beyond absolute belief when it comes to the draft. And the thing that proves it more than anything in my book is the fact that this year, all of these freaking draft nicks that are all over the place, these fucking so-called experts who can read the future, are telling you that, oh, you've got to trade up, and you've got to go get this guy. Otherwise, you're picking through junk like Mariota and Trubisky, who were just 5 years ago your number 2 pick in the draft because of all your fucking hype. All right.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's a load of bullshit. All right. anybody that wants to say that you got to pick in the first 2-3 picks to get yourself your franchise quarterback is not really paying attention to how these guys are found. Like I said, Jalen Hurts, 2nd round pick, right?
Tom Brady.
Yes, Tom Brady, 6th round. But Josh Allen, yes, you have
Rodgers.
and Aaron Rodgers slipped like
We drafted
crazy,
Jason
right
Campbell
past
over Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
I know.
Right. Yeah, thanks, Keith. We get the fuck
So
out of here.
Yeah,
Don't
you
come
can
back till December.
find quarterbacks in the top half of the first round. Okay.
You can find quarterbacks in a lot of places. It's a matter of being able to develop them properly.
Yeah.
You get the coach and the quarterback combo right. The best thing about being at the top of the draft is you have your pick of all of them.
Yeah,
That's
you have to have
the best
consistency between your owner and your coaching staff to know that you're going to have enough time to be able to develop this guy. So that way this guy isn't having 6 offensive schemes that he's got to learn within the first 6 years of his career, because that's usually the way it ends up with a lot of these guys is, you know, they get drafted by a bad team, then that coach gets fired, and then they have to learn a new system. It's just, it's an ongoing vicious rabbit hole.
Right, it is. Now, let me ask you this, Keith. What's it like to be part of RG3's 10-man purchasing all that? Because I know you're in. We know you're in, right?
You know that I'm in.
What a goon, man. What a
listen, I'm not, first of all, Jesse, I'm not going to tolerate, I've been nice about Kirk Cousins, so I'm not going to tolerate no RG3 slander. But to be fair,
Kirk Cousins,
he never responded to me at all. So I don't even know if I would be one of his 10. And that hurts because I want to collect my $25 a week.
It's months ago he wanted to write a tell-all book, and now he wants to be a part of an ownership group.
To be fair, sir, that got blocked.
The book got blocked?
The
By
book
what?
got blocked.
By what?
Huh?
That's what I'm saying.
By what?
That's exactly, you made my point.
I'm not going to say who, but it was certain ownership that blocked that from happening.
So he'd signed an NDA when he was a player? Is that what he did? I'm not going to say who. So let me ask you this, Keith. Since you're here talking about you're not going to say who, what did they tell you to say to us about the sale of the potential sale of the team? You have the inside information, being is that you've been sleeping with Tanya.
Sir, the only thing I know is who is fan of the year this year. That's what I've spent all day in team meetings discussing.
So in other words, you're the hand over here while they're reaching in the hat for the rabbit. That's what you are.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just the guy who just spreads the word. That's it.
Spreads the word. So what did Tanya tell you to say? Just
Tanya
curious.
didn't tell me anything. I have no direct communication with Tanya. Please don't tell these people this, because then they'll feel like, oh, this is how he gets his perks and privileges. No, bitch, I work hard. That's how I get it.
I understand that. You are international television sensation Keith Gray, and you do have certain perks and privileges. You are buddies with team president Jason.
Okay,
Jason,
first of
right?
all, you guys know that that's off the football field.
Well, understood. Then it's a good thing, too, because we don't want anybody slipping in any of the refuse that you may leave behind come Sunday. Yeah,
listen, I'm very concerned about this ownership situation. Because
please tell us.
Because if they go and clean house, which I know everyone wants to do, which is fine with me, but if they go and clean house, then there's that possibility that my best friend,
I don't think Jason's going anywhere.
I
don't think he's going anywhere.
Well, I hope not, because
he's an NFL plant. He is an NFL plant, and
we all know that. We're not stupid. But
to those who were saying they need to change the name again, whoever's the new owner,
Jason, if you're listening to this, just know that I absolutely love you.
I think you're a good dude.
The way that you hugged me 2 Sundays ago, I knew that you love
new
me
ownership.
Too.
Question to y'all: do y'all want the name changed again if there's new owners?
No.
Good God, no! Oh my God, the arguments I've seen and listened to on the radio, like Kevin Sheehan, like is leading in charge on this fucking shit. No, do not change the name again. Not going through that shit.
No.
No.
Yeah, just
What this information has provided for people is hope that, one, it could either go back to possibly being Red Wolf, or it could go back to being Redskins, or if that ship has sailed, which we all know it has, then we can go back to naming the team what the fans really wanted, which was Red Wolves. And at the end of the day, no, let's not put ourselves through any of that. Look, the name is not popular with a lot of people from what I've been reading, but at the end of the day, it's a name, and
shit selling. I see Commanders fucking
absolutely
all
selling.
over.
You could call it the Washington Dildo Squad, and put a big dildo right as the logo.
I'm for that.
And people are buying that gear because that's just the way we work.
look, instead of steam that they come running through to come onto the field, you could have a couple of those, a couple of those dildos facing the tunnel and then just
look. First of all,
blow that steam out. And
listen, I hate the name.
Spurts, I hate to
but
use
I'm
the
good
word.
I'm
with
not
it
a huge
now.
fan of the name either. But again, when you take that name and you compare it to some of the goofy names in the league, it's not as goofy as everyone thinks it is. And listen, a lot of people don't like it because they're not used to saying it, or they have their reasons because, they're the Redskins folks that, wish they had that name back. But just stick with it and run.
I don't
with
like it
I think
because
you need
I
better
reject
decisions
authority
on
uniform.
the uniforms. You need to make better decisions on.
I don't know. I've come around on the uniforms. I love the uniforms. I love all three.
The red ones I like a lot. And the white ones are all right.
I like the
black
burgundies.
ones,
The white one looks okay on the field. Not something that I would personally wear, but I like the white jerseys with the burgundy pants. It can work, but I also think
like
that
the burgundies.
these jerseys can be better, though. I think it could be better.
I think they need stripes on the pants.
I think the alternate jersey could be better. That gold looks great, but not on TV. So, it really does look like Steelers colors. There's a lot of different things that you could do with these jerseys to make them look better is all I'm saying. But truthfully, I don't care about none of this until 100% of the team sells. And it seems like that's word around town that's all that's going to happen. Look, I'm not invested in any emotional time. I'm happy that everyone else is happy about it. But listen, it ain't done yet, baby. So
Dan Snyder's been living rent free in so many motherfuckers' heads.
Rent free, dude. You know how much money we spend on this fucking team?
Man,
We've been paying our goddamn rent. Rent free. The way I always say it is this: when anybody asks why I hate Dan Snyder so much, it's because he wrecked something that I dearly love, and I was here before that son of a bitch. Yeah, and I don't mean I was here before 2000 when he bought the team, or 1999 when he bought the team. I mean when he says I was a fan since 1969. Oh yeah, well I beat you by 3 fucking years, you little goddamn shrimp. So
all I'm saying is
he's not taking this away from me.
That's what I'm saying. Done. I'm not letting him take the love from my team.
I love it. And I'm gonna watch the NFL on Sundays, and even if people say to you, like Andy would say, well, brother, why don't you just go find yourself another team? And I could go.
Good old Andy.
Scotty, how was that impression? Was that good enough?
It wasn't too bad. Okay, it wasn't too bad.
All right. I needed to check with our expert here.
All right, mate. Listen, why don't you go and find another fucking team? All right. Just fucking go up the I-95 to Baltimore.
I couldn't find another fucking team if I tried. It's like giving up.
Yeah, no, you can't do it. It'd be like trying to. I don't know. It's like
get rid of one of your kids. Disown one of your kids.
Yeah, I can't do it. It's ingrained. It's ingrained. And I'm not letting him. I'm not letting him take the love that I have for the team away. I'm just not doing it.
No, and now he can get the fuck out.
And people that were at the game, me, there was sell the team chance, but let's not listen, and that's fine. I don't care how anyone feels regarding it. If that's how you feel, great. That's why we live here in America. Express your feelings. No judgment on me, right? But boy, they put it out there. Local media put it out there as if it was just set around the same dude. It was like one section that was saying it. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't the whole damn stadium. And
I'm
yet
interested to see what the stadium's going to be like.
I can tell you it's going to be packed. I can tell you.
I'm saying like chance.
I'm sure you'll hear chants, and I've seen a lot of people on social media this week. Try to be better than that. Don't do that. These players, whatever. You know what? The players can't. They don't fucking know what and they don't care. All right, they're busy. Okay, that's how it is. You go to work, right? You ever have somebody over there just yapping away, right? Like Jesse, when you're at work, you got somebody over there outside the fence going, "Come on, we want to get on the sliding board." God damn it, right?
When's the seesaw going to be open?
All that we truly will know if Dan Snyder sells this team, it's 100%. All we'll truly know from it is that we'll never have to worry about and deal with his off the field bullshit that he's put these fans through. But there's no guarantee that when these new owners come in, that things are going to be any better when it comes to the
it's hard to get
on-field.
worse. Well, the on-field. I mean, look,
I'm talking about the on-field product. Getting rid of Dan gets rid of the off-field. But we still have an on-field problem that needs to be dealt with. There's no guarantee that a new owner
No, there's not. But I think
Can do
that. I think that any new owner who is going to be able to afford this football team will have been able to watch the last 20 years of how Dan Snyder fucked this up by sticking his thumbs and his fingers in every single thing. Right. I mean, he's supposedly staying away, and then we find out. I mean, these are things I take with a grain of salt, that he was the one that picks Carson Wentz and tells them to go ahead and do it. But, is that 100% true? I don't know. It sounds true because that's what he does. So you would hope
every single game, John. And I thought he was meant to be staying away, and the NFL had told him you to stay away from.
That was last year, though. That his exile has been completed, I do believe.
Okay.
So
I think that the announcement, because a lot of people were questioning the timing of the announcement of them. I think a lot of it had to do to potentially slow down the sell the team chance, because it was heard in the stadium. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't played out the way that media was putting it, but it was heard.
It'll be heard this weekend too.
Right. And I think that they felt in their minds that this was a decision that they're going to make. They probably have already been behind the scenes doing a lot of talking meetings. This didn't just come out of nowhere, but it was a perfect opportunity to release it in hopes of dying down the sell the team chance, to still hold some kind of validity to the team that's on the field. I think that that's the reason why that decision was made. Because as we all know, they make weird decisions. Like, for instance, wearing black uniforms against the Cowboys. That was not on the schedule. That was not to happen.
No, that was so that we could try to get some hope for the season.
And that was also because they knew that fans truthfully
were turning
loved
off
that. And they knew that fans love those uniforms, and they figured that will divert the attention that was currently going on at that time. Because that's the way that they think. They don't think two steps forward. They're always thinking two steps backwards, trying to avoid what's going to happen forward. But they're never ahead of the game, ever.
Jessy over there.
So is what it is. But listen, I'm not getting my hopes up on any of that until it actually happens.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. I'm just let's listen.
Other than that, all we're doing is circle jerking each other.
When the ink is dry.
Yeah.
Let me know when the ink is dry, and I'll head the parade.
100%. I'll be there with you boys.
Well, up until that point, I'm going to be freaking speculating and cheering on everything that I think is possible, and I'll just be.
Byron Allen, let's go.
Let's go, Byron Allen. All right, so we should get into some.
It could be Jesse. It could be Scott. It could be anybody. I don't even care. Just let's do something different than we've been doing over the years.
All right, that sounds good to me. All right, so let's do some X factors. We do have to do something about this football game. So, X factor, X factor.
X factor.
There we go. All right, Keith, who's your offensive X factor of the game?
Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin.
All right, well, way to pick the obvious. Nice job. Good job.
Okay, I won't pick the obvious though.
No, you already said it. You're taking away.
No, we shouldn't have picked him anyways. Let me not take the easy way out. Let me not take the easy way out. The X factor of the game is our offensive line.
Good call.
Our offensive line has to protect Heineke, has to allow Heineke to make plays. We got to score some points.
All right, well, there you go. We got to score some points. That's one of the most overused cliches that have ever been. I do like it when they say that, though. I have a piece of audio around here somewhere of Mike Ditka saying, I can tell you something. The Cardinals are going to win this game if they score more points than the Vikings. That's the only way they can do it. Okay, thank you. Let's see. All right, so, Jesse, who is your? I'm trying to find my
Taylor Heineke.
Hang on a minute. God damn it. Let me put X Factor.
X Factor. I was waiting for you, Scott.
I'll tell you what.
Taylor Heineke.
He is the X Factor.
He's got to have a good game. I think we're going to be able to run the ball. But Heineke's got to make smart decisions with the ball.
Unfortunately,
him and the offensive line are the two biggest things that needs to play well for this to work. And that goes with any game in the season, to be honest with you. It's the quarterback and the offensive line.
That's all start to bleed.
Move forward. You're sitting right back there in the blurry zone, Jesse. Every time you talk, your face goes blurry. The blur effect on the thing gets your face. It's because you're just sitting. Look at it. He's like the shadow back there. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
No, seriously. Quarterback, man. That's been our downfall on offense all year. I strongly believe is quarterback making bad decisions and offensive line not being able to help out and give them time to make better decisions.
All right. I'll go with that. Taylor Heineke is your X Factor. All right. Scotty, who is your X Factor?
X Factor.
I'll go with Antonio Gibson. I think he needs a big game. Obviously, no JD McKissick this weekend. Brian Robinson hasn't been doing it the last couple of games, which we've got to cut him a bit of slack as a rookie. He's still trying to understand the game and understand the pro game. So Antonio Gibson needs a big game. I want to see him on kickoff returns. I'd love to see him on punt returns as well, but I don't want to see Dax Milne anymore. So he's been close to hitting one. So I hope he gets a really good return, and I want to see him have a great game through the middle. And you can use him as a outside piece as well up in the slot or anywhere else.
There is nothing goodness to Jesse's beard. I'm just saying.
It is luscious.
Whoa.
It is luscious.
God,
Thank you, Yam. You're
Should
absolutely
get a beard
right.
oil sponsor on here, Jesse. That's what you need.
Yam, you're just pumping Jesse's ego now. Great.
He lives in Japan. They don't have
Way
any
to
hair
come in
anywhere.
late, Ty. You're only an
Yeah.
hour and 24 minutes late.
Yeah, Ty, you might as well not even listen. Just sign out. Goodbye.
How you doing, Ty?
Wow.
You're just in time. I'm going to ask Yam a question that I've
Ty, we
always
don't
been
even
curious
need
about.
listeners. Goodbye.
Yeah, when you're in Japan and you have
Ty.
sex, does the pixelation get in the way? Is it weird looking down there like that?
Anime.
What are you? What,
Oh,
John? My God,
This
Oh.
gets dark, man. It's good though.
swear.
It's funny.
John.
Gosh, John, I spend 8 hours a day on a building site, right? I
Right.
get this all the time. I don't need it in my podcast, man.
Really?
Sewer mouth.
Pixels are annoying as fuck.
They are. I mean, I don't understand completely with the pixels and all the screaming. What the hell's all up with that? All right, so I guess my offensive. Let me hang on a second there. That was my offensive X Factor. It offended Keith. My offensive X Factor is going to be our other running back. It's going to be Brian Robinson. Dude, you got to get better than 2.8 yards a carry. I need you to go out there and I need you to hammer some freaking linebackers. I need you to start hammering some safeties when you get to the third level. I need you to start pushing through this line. And I know that they don't give you many holes, but you do pussyfoot, and you can't pussyfoot it up in there. You got to
Bro, I
run.
want to see a breakaway running back touchdown, man. That it's been just such a long time. Like,
Yeah,
we
no,
need
you're right.
this in our lives.
You're right.
Yeah,
So I was thinking about that last
about
week.
three of them.
I think one of I forget who it was, but they caught by the foot and dragged down or tripped up, and I was like, when was the last time? I think it was probably Dallas when Gibson had that three touchdown game from
like
Gibson.
a 41-yard run.
Yeah, it was the last time we saw a really big run for a touchdown.
Well, he had that screen pass last year against Buffalo. It was like
No, I don't
73
want
yards.
screen. I just want a straight up.
We had the 90-yard run from Adrian Peterson.
Yeah,
We got to get going, guys. I got to.
All right, yeah, we do got to get going. All right, so all right.
really bad.
Okay.
I'm good. I
Keith.
can't hold it no more. Y'all go. I'll be back.
All right. Okay. Yeah, okay. There you go. All right, Keith, who's your defensive X Factor? I was going to go really slow and play some musical, or I was going to play some water sound effects if he was going to wait. That's too bad. We're going to.
Yeah, I'm going to take a whole unit. I'm going to go with that defensive line, man. They got to create that pressure, make Cousins make bad decisions, and we got to capitalize off of turnovers in order for us to have a shot in this game, I think.
Okay. I think that sounds pretty good to me. All right. What about you, Scott? Who do you think? I keep losing my shit over here. Sorry, I'm trying to do too many things at once. All right. Well, who's your defensive X Factor?
X Factor.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be Cam Curl.
Cam Curl.
Yeah, it has to play either a lot more like we saw him last week down in the box with a green dot on, calling the plays. Had a really good game last week. He's got to continue in that vein, whether it's down in the box, because we obviously Mayo's out, so we've got no idea who's playing at linebacker alongside
John
Davis.
Bostic is who it's going to be. It's going to be Bostic. Yep.
So he needs to step up and have another amazing game, and he has been showing that for the last few weeks.
Right. See, this is I never thought I'd say, oh God, David Mayo's out, because I never thought I'd say, oh God, Cole Holcomb's out. But now we got both of them out, and it is going to be pretty bad.
Wild Goose and Fuller.
What's that?
I'm concerned about Wild Goose and Fuller.
Wild
Always
Goose.
concerned about Fuller.
I am less concerned about Wild Goose than I am with Fuller. However, Wild Goose is my defensive X Factor, because he's going to be playing in that slot, and they do like to move Jefferson in that slot, and it's going to be
They're going to
powerful
key in on him in the
100%.
slot. Damn
And when he gets beat, he holds.
Yep.
I tell you,
Well, that's fine. Listen,
Beats the touchdown.
You either hold or touchdown, and
Right.
might as well get the hold.
All right,
But,
Jesse,
yeah.
who's your defensive X factor?
I was going to say Wild Goose, but I'll change it to Jamin Davis. He's got he had a big game last week, and he's going to have another. He's got to have another big game this week with no Cole Holcomb. He played very, very well. I was extremely excited to see his progression from last week. That was him.
There he goes.
Fucking Cam Curl in the middle. So James Davis got to have another big game.
All right, thank you, Captain Fuzzy. I'll tell you what I want
I'm trying to move just to get my eyeball. One eye.
It's
If I
like
can
looking at Crime Stoppers. You see these shows, and it's like we've got this ephid of this man from CCTV.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up here because
Well,
next
every time I look at Jesse, it looks like he's committed a murder. So it's not.
Right, that's my other X factor is going to be Jesse paying his electric bill before next weekend's show, before tomorrow's show. So yeah, good job.
Hey,
All
what's
right,
the
yeah,
over and under Jesse texts and says this game's over?
By 1:30, I would say, yeah, by 1:30.
I'll take the over. I'll take the over every time.
between 1 and 1:30, yes. All right, so look, I am going to. We're going to wrap this up. We've been doing this for an hour and a half, and that's good because we've had a good time here today. And I don't think that anybody that's watching us really gives a shit how long we're here. You just like to be here because, hey, who else would you rather?
Matt Scherzer's back. He says Kirk is going in no lube. Probably right.
All right, Max. Jeez. All right, better stock up on booze for Sunday. I did, as a matter of fact. I went out today and I went and got myself a nice bit of I got myself some, I guess you could call it an anesthetic to come in on Sunday. But I think we're going to do all right. I'm going to go ahead and predict a win. I'm going to say we get this win. Taylor Heineke is going to pull one out of his ass, just like he did last week. The miracle of Taylor Heineke continues along, and we're winning this game 24-23. What about you, Keith? What do you say?
Yeah, I'm not as confident as you are, but I'm gonna say that this is a big game for everyone. I think we're gonna come out, we're gonna win, and I'm going to say 27-24.
All right. What the hell, Jesse, did you do with your light? Oh, there you are. Good.
And I'm completely way off with that because I really, in my heart, says we're going to lose, and it's going to be 20.
Oh, we're losing this game.
28 to 10.
It's going to be a you like that game from Kirk Cousins.
Ah,
and
you had to go and say that. You like that. You like that.
I think it's going to be 28-21 Vikings.
Oof. So.
That's probably reasonable. Scott, what do you think?
Heart says 21-17 Commanders. Head says probably a loss.
All right. See, head says it's probably going to be like 35-20 Vikings.
Yeah. Bang on, yeah.
Let's go get him. Kirk Cousins is going to have one of his days.
Come on, it's a win.
Right?
We're going
Let's
to
get that big win. Okay, I'm on the Heineke hive. Let's go, baby. I'm on the train. All right, then. So tomorrow afternoon, Scott, Jesse, and I will be here to pick some football games. And Keith, if you can find time in your busy schedule, which we know that you probably can't, you're always welcome to join us.
You know that.
You're always welcome to join us to pick some football games on Saturday afternoon. We just do it for fun. And, of course, everybody knows that if anybody uses our advice for gambling, you're an idiot, and that is our disclaimer. So that's all I got. Left finger up.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what else you got?
No, I was just saying. Let's stop pushing this stupid, silly left hand up song.
I tell you what, if they start doing it in the stadium, I'm going to do it.
Oh no, I'm not.
I'm becoming friends with them, buddy. They're about to be a red zone staple, and you're going to love every second of it.
God.
Look, let these fans have fun with it, man. No one else has come up with anything. These guys are fun.
Didn't I tell you? Didn't I say it's got to come from something organic from the fans? Right. And
exactly.
This
and
is.
all the people that are judging it, and I'm not saying this because of Jesse, but all the people that are judging it, what have you done? I haven't heard anything yet.
What the hell is that? Oh, there it is. Look at it. God damn it. I should send a bomb in a mailbox.
It's a song. It's a fire.
Those
song.
haters
I like
can't stand us, Jesse. Left hand up. Who are we? We are
I
the
don't know.
Commanders.
I don't understand the rap
I'm out.
music, I just do what they say.
Yeah, nothing. I
John,
just
these
think
guys
it's
are
a
as old
silly
as you are
song.
that's doing
Tell
it.
you
Left
this,
hand
man.
up.
Tell you,
Well, I
I
need
know
to be
how
right
to
hand
do
up.
what they tell me.
Oh, that'd probably be like
Capping
Nazism.
you.
Nazi, yes, correct.
No,
That's fine.
left hand, the right hand up. We don't put it up at an angle. All right, it's got to go up. We are in driving school making a left turn because our signal is out. That's what we're doing. All right, then that's enough for us today. Left finger up. See y'all tomorrow.
Later.
All right, guys.